Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chiranjit Mishra and today I'm going to discuss the news today for July 10th. There are 5 main news and 9 quick updates. So let's quickly go through the headlines first. The first main news, there are 2 main news related to India's visit to Australia. Honorable Prime Minister, after finishing his Indonesian trip, is in Australia now. So again, just to boost the trade relationship between the two countries. But the first main news is High Seas Fisheries program, which has been launched by the Vice President of India. Second is India-Australia PACTS partnership, which wants to go beyond cybersecurity and partnership with regard to all the emerging technologies. Then PM Modi's Australia visit outcomes. What are the outcomes? We'll discuss that. Agricultural Mechanization Mission, or it's a submission under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, and which looks after or takes care of everything that is related to cultivation of crops before that and post harvest. Last, Delhi floods and urban flooding. Now quick updates. WIPO, or World Intellectual Property Organization Innovation Investment Report, is out and it shows how much money has been put in the field of intangible assets. Next, global trade in Indian bonds, okay, that is being facilitated by a company called Bloomberg. Third is Eastern River rainfall decline. We'll talk about decline in the rainfall in Eastern Indus. Next, Global Livability Index 2026. Okay, so as per this report, Delhi is not at a very good spot. It has shared the rank of 120, followed by Mumbai and Madras. Then Protect Cancer Therapy. We'll talk about new genetic therapies, new drugs. Then IUCN Red List updates, how certain species, especially that of mollusks, they're facing threat. Then deaths of mugger crocodiles, another environmental related news. And a compound called aldrin, which is possibly the reason behind the deaths of the crocodiles. Next, Samrit Gram initiative, which has received a very prestigious award, which is given by or awarded by International Telecommunications Union. Last is cyanobacteria for lead removal, a type of bioremediation. Without delaying, let's start with the first main news, which is India-Australia Annual Summit 2026. As I said, after finishing the Indonesian visit, Honorable Prime Minister has now arrived in Australia and he will also visit New Zealand. So he wants to cover the entire Indo-Pacific region, the 3 important countries present in that region. And again, to boost trade relationship between the two countries, just like we focused on Indonesia, we already have a comprehensive economic partnership. Now with Australia, we are trying to finalize what is called SICA. I hope it's visible. SICA, which is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. We are very much close to the finalization of this agreement. The current partnership is called Economic Cooperation Trade Agreement, ECTA. So as per this agreement, again, tariff barriers have been removed or reduced. So India's exports, 85% of India's exports enjoy reduced tariff barrier. Okay, but when we will get or reach SICA, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, remember the name SICA. I hope it's visible. Okay, SICA, once we reach here, there will not just be reduction in tariffs, but more comprehensive engagement, because Australia wants to use Indian market. It has a very flourishing or thriving dairy sector and agricultural sector, and it wants to find markets. And India is already a supplier of pharmaceuticals, refined petroleum products, but India can also try to take advantage of its growing service sector. Okay, so and they're targeting a trade worth $100 billion. The current trade between the two countries is close to $48 billion. 40, it's a 100, more than twice. Okay, so let's take a look at what all agreements have been made. Yeah. Third, India-Australia Annual Summit. Every year, both the Prime Ministers meet. Summit concluded with key agreements. PM visited Australia for summit. Okay, this is done. SICA negotiations to be fast-tracked discussed. 2015 Nuclear agreement operationalized, Australian uranium exports enabled. You know what happened after the Pokhran test in 1999? India received, worldwide backlash, and it also suffered in terms of not being able to procure nuclear fuels for civilian purpose, because the world was afraid that India may use it to make nuclear bombs. But we reached a deal, and now we can procure uranium from Australia. Australia supplies a lot of minerals, and that is also one of the reasons for this visit. Critical minerals, okay, coal, cooking grade coal we procure from Australia, then uranium. But uranium, India is allowed to use only for civilian purpose, defense and maritime security, okay. Already we're part of Quad and many other exercises also. Education and skilling, Victoria University campus in Gurugram. So it will open an extension campus in Gurugram, and another university will open the same in Bengaluru. So that means Indian students are already traveling abroad to Australia, and there are nearly 137,000 students who are studying in Australia. Now, if you're studying economics, tell me, does it amount to import or export? Is India importing something or exporting something when Indian students avail education in Australia? Of course, it's importing. Okay, that means we are losing money. Then cultural links. 3 ancient artifacts have been repatriated. That means Australia has many Indian artifacts, and they do hold cultural importance. And as a good gesture, Australia has returned those items. Stone Nandi returned. Nandi is the Vahan of Lord Shiv, and it has also been returned. A particular replica of the bull. Next, India backs India's Olympics bid. India is planning to host or bidding for 2036 Olympics. Australia has been very supportive of the same. Now let's take a look at bilateral trade, which is close to 50 billion. As I said, to be precise, $48 billion ka trade hai, and we're planning to take it up to $100 billion. Next, ECTA effective since December 2022, and this ECTA will be replaced by what can be called SICA. It will be more comprehensive in nature. Defense relations, AUSINDEX, Austria-Hind, the names are very open. In the prelims exam, we should not expect these themes because the names are very revealing. Indian diaspora, as I said, there are 1 million or 10 lakh Indians already staying there in Australia, and 1.37 lakh Indian students studying in Australia. Okay, that's it. So you got plenty of numbers. You can use them in your answer if a question is asked related to procuring critical minerals from the Indo-Pacific region. Now another related news, India-Australia PACTS. So there were many PACTS related to cooperation in cyber technology, okay, cyber warfare, a combined effort to reduce cybercrime. Now we have tried to enlarge this partnership. We also want to invest or collaborative in other projects like cutting edge technology starting from artificial intelligence, okay, and clean technology, okay. So let's take a look at the various agreements. The most important is critical minerals, of course, we have discussed that. There are 5 pillars. Start with supply chain resilience, critical technologies, cyber security, which is already there, digital resilience, and defense research. So digital means, of course, collaboration in everything that is related to information and technology, okay. And India has skilled manpower, and Australia can provide resources, okay. So these are the 5 pillars you can memorize. I don't think a question particular to India, Australia will be asked, but if India's relationship with the countries in the Indo-Pacific region is asked, you can mention the 3 recent examples, starting from Indonesia, okay. It's a part of India's Look East policy, Act East policy also, and then Australia and New Zealand, okay. With New Zealand, we already have FTA, Free Trade Agreement. So what is the significance of this PACTS for India? These 5 pillars. Pehla to lithium and cobalt. You know, starting from EV to semiconductors, there are supportive elements required, and these can be complete when we are in a position to procure not just lithium but also nickel and cobalt. Supports green energy transition, as I mentioned, EV ecosystem, India's semiconductor mission, and also UPI and DPI. As you know, India's UPI, Unified Payment Interface, its popularity is increasing. In France also, starting from Eiffel Tower to the French Paris airport. It's functional everywhere, also in UAE, Bhutan. So it's known for its rapid global expansion. So now UPI will also be available in Australia. Lastly, Indian Ocean Security. As I said, Australia and India are already part of Quad. India, Japan, Australia, US. Okay. So that's it. Next, fisheries and high seas. Now it's basically maritime or sea-based fishery, not freshwater fisheries, because freshwater is contained in rivers and lakes, inland lakes. So here we are talking about those fish or fishes which are available in the high seas, far away from the territorial waters. I hope you all understand the UN clause division. Okay, if this is the Indian coastline, okay, you have territorial waters till some nautical miles, 12, then economic exclusive zone. This zone beyond territorial waters till 200 nautical miles. Now you may ask, what is nautical mile? Nautical mile is a measurement used in ocean faring or seafaring, and 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.8 kilometers. 1 normal mile, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना 1 मील चल के, that is equal to 1.6 kilometers. So 1 nautical mile is longer in distance than 1 normal mile. 200 nautical miles tak you'll have economic exclusive zone, and in this zone other countries have the freedom to navigate. Okay, but India has a very strong, and India is entitled to use economic resources found within this zone, economic exclusive zone. Everything beyond the EEZ comes under high seas. So this mission or this proposal is related to high seas. अगर high seas तक पहुंच के हम अपने seafaring activity we continue, so just imagine the Indian fishermen will benefit a lot. It will boost India's blue economy. Blue economy means economy related to resources of seas and Indian Ocean. Okay. So let's take a look at the same. It has been launched by Honorable Vice President, and it was proposed last year. Union Budget 25-26. Okay. Last year actually, this year it was 26-27, last year 25-26. Beyond national jurisdiction, beyond 200 nautical miles, beyond EEZ, that is called high seas. I hope you all can differentiate, starting with territorial waters, TW. Territorial waters means it comes under India's sovereignty. India का पूरा हक है. Then economic exclusive zone. India का हक सिर्फ to use economic resources, but freedom of navigation is there with all the other countries. Their ships can pass through EEZ. EEZ के बाद आता है high seas, and we are focusing on high seas. Digital integration, those who want to get registered fishermen, there is a platform or re-aircraft portal, transparent application processing. Okay, there will not be no hera-feri, no delay. Okay, fisheries cooperatives prioritize, just like farmers producer organization, so that will improve their voices. They can also collaborate with other value addition companies. Unlocks high seas fishing potential, promotes high value tuna fish. Tuna fish is very popular abroad in the West, and India can also export it. Even if Indian consumers, consumption of tuna fish is rising in India, but it's very much popular already in the West. So if some types of fish are not consumed here in India, they can be exported. Enhances fisher incomes, expands seafood exports, and strengthens blue economy. Okay, blue economy. So scientific fisheries management encourages, strengthens market linkages, and India, if you don't know, India has the second largest fish economy or fisheries economy. At number 1 there is China, and total production in India is close to 200 lakh tons. 200 lakh tons. अगर kgs में करें तो it will be close to 2 into 10 to the power 10 kgs. Okay, but a better way to say it is 200 lakh tons. Next, the fourth main news, submission on agricultural mechanization. Now, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, you have all heard of. It was initiated in 2007. Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, that means for the development of Indian agriculture. It was launched in 2007 when there was planning commission, and body in charge of implementing this was National Development Council. And as you know, now Planning Commission is no more. National Development Council is also gone. We are living in the post-planning era. So now, in 2017, it was revamped and it was called RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, RAFTAR. RAFTAR is also an abbreviation. So now, earlier we focused on the potential of the crops or cultivation stage, जब हम उगाते हैं crops को. Now we are also focusing on post-harvestment. Post-harvest. एक बार कटाई के बाद, फसल कटाई के बाद, what can be done? Because production will only be important or beneficial if the produce is safely stored. And safe storage of crops is a part of post-harvest management. And India is infamous for losing its already produced agricultural products because many of them are not perennial. They have transient, you can say longevity, very short longevity, and if they are not properly stored, we will lose quality produce. Okay, so post-harvestment is a part of the revamped or the restructured RKVY, which was done in 2017. And a part of, because this is an umbrella scheme. Umbrella scheme means you can imagine a big umbrella under which there are many small schemes. So RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, is an umbrella scheme. एक बहुत बड़ा scheme है, and there are many sub schemes, and one of which is submission on agricultural mechanization. You know, mechanization of everything improves its effectiveness or efficiency, because 10 log lage honge, that job can be done even more fast by a simple machine. So a simple machine can easily replace 10 people. Of course, you may say that 10 people will lose their jobs, but as you know, Indian agriculture is also infamous for a type of unemployment which is called disguised unemployment, जहाँ पे इतने लोग लगे हुए हैं but we don't need that many people. Those people can use their talent and can serve as potential economic, potential capital, human capital in other sectors. They can add value in other sectors. Okay, that is why replacing human beings with machinery is very important, and this is the focus of submission on agricultural mechanization. जैसे छोटे से points let's cover. Support small women and disadvantaged farmers because they need more money and their agricultural yield is primarily targeted because they come under the disadvantaged section. Special focus on northeast and underserved states. Underserved मतलब जहाँ पे economic potential has not been properly harnessed, especially those states which missed out on green revolution. As you know, green revolution से benefits किसको मिला? पंजाब, हरियाणा, western UP and to an extent Rajasthan. So what about West Bengal, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha? Okay, they are part of this category which is called underserved states, not undeserved. Okay, reduces regional mechanization disparities. That means some states are doing well, some states are not, and this difference is called disparity. Nearly 10,000 crore assistance provided under submission of agricultural mechanization, and 21.61 lakh, that means close to 2.1 million machines have been distributed. And using drones are famous for their use in defense, but drones are equally capable in spraying pesticides and insecticides and also fertilizers. So drone demonstrations for farmers, they can use mechanization. Instead of moving on a big farmland and traveling, spending so much time, they can use drones. 646 high-tech equipment hubs established. So these are the points you can memorize. Even if you find it difficult to memorize the figures, at least remember the points. Using drones, high-tech equipments, focus target group क्या होगा? Women, SC/ST community, okay? And region में northeast and underserved states. That's it. Next, urban floods. It's a common phenomenon during the monsoon times. Most of the Indian cities, they suffer from this particular problem which is called urban floods. Urban floods are not natural floods. Now in village areas or natural floods में होता क्या है? The water overflows. The rivers find it difficult to carry so much water. So the water breaks the embankment and they fill the plains. But in this case, urban flooding is artificial because of unplanned urbanization. Unplanned urbanization के कारण होता है. there is no proper drainage system. पानी जाएगा कहाँ पे? There is concrete everywhere. You know, in sandy soil, the water easily travels down. It can easily go down. Even if it's muddy, it will take some time, but ultimately, muddy soil also have some water absorbing capacity. But if it's concrete everywhere, the water will keep flowing, and there is no drainage system, the water will also not flow. It will neither go down, it will neither nor move away. It will get contained. And that is what is happening in the Indian cities. Not just Delhi, Gurgaon, everywhere. Bangalore, Chennai, okay, and also Surat. Even the tier 2 towns, they're facing the same problem. Why? Because we are all trying to be Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. We are focusing on constructing huge buildings without paying attention to proper drainage systems. So let's take a look at this. Urban floods. IMD issued red alert nationwide. Heavy monsoon rains triggered urban floods. Delhi and Surat severely affected. ये तो दो ही एग्जाम्पल्स है. दिल्ली मीन्स टोटल एनसीआर, गाजियाबाद, गुड़गांव, नोएडा, एवरीवेयर. टेम्पररी इनंडेशन ऑफ अर्बन एरियाज, एक्सेस रन ऑफ overwhelms drainage systems. इतना होता है, and because our drains are not desilted. Desilted means removing the debris and silt. And if drain से debris और silt नहीं हटाओगे तो पानी flow कैसे करेगा? ठीक है. Different from rural flooding, as I said in the beginning. This is sometimes due to the inability of river to carry excess water. Urbanization intensifies flood severity, impacts, causes displacement of people, results in life and property loss. Common sense. और critical infrastructure भी damage होता है. ठीक है. Electricity pole भी टूट सकता है. Things can fall, things can break. Okay. And electronics and electrical items can also get submerged. अगर digitized system करोगे, ठीक है. Unplanned urbanization, enclosed water bodies, poor drainage infrastructure. These are the causes. Okay. Way forward, data-driven forecasting. Again, to learn from the past, data will make it slightly more organized. Nature-based infrastructure. You must have come across this term, which was first coined in the context of Chinese urban flooding, and it's also called nature-based. We call this sponge city. The concept is called sponge city. Sponge can absorb water. A city can also serve like one big sponge. How? By removing concrete made roads. We can use some material which can absorb water, H2O, green roofs, and using wetlands to absorb water. So these are the criteria, these are the features of a sponge city. Now what we are focusing on? We are focusing on grey infrastructure. Grey infra is not good. That means more cement, more concrete. We need to move towards green infra. ये terms सब याद कर लो. ठीक है? That's it. Now let's take a look at the quick updates. First is WIPO report, intangible investment. Assets are of two types, tangible and intangible. Tangible things can be touched like physical plants, machinery, machines, okay, equipments. And intangible मतलब software हो गया या intellectual property rights हो गया, R&D हो गया. So intangible, anything that cannot be touched. R&D, software, okay, another human capital. These are the features of a knowledge economy. Knowledge economy is that economy in which the major source of employment and GDP is IT. Using your knowledge, you create solutions, not physical factories. So global investment exceeded $10 trillion in 2025, and you can easily guess the reason behind this is AI and data science. We are not talking about data centers also. Data centers intangible में नहीं आएगा. Data centers are physical buildings. We are talking about investment, creating models, okay, creating, giving salaries to mathematicians or data scientists. Intangible investment has grown 3.6 times faster than tangible investments. You can look at the figure. India recorded the fastest recent growth. 7.9% का growth हुआ है as compared to 2024. Okay, intangible investment refer to ideas, processes, thoughts, unlike tangible. And WIPO is a specialized agency of the United Nations, and headquarters is in Switzerland, precisely Geneva. Next, global trading in Indian government bonds, which is a good news for Indian economy because we need FDI, foreign investments, or FPI, foreign portfolio investments. So bond में जो invest करेगा, of course वो mostly institutional investment ही होता है, but it's a good thing. More dollars will come into the Indian market. How is it being possible? There are many ways in which foreigners can invest in Indian bonds, okay? But this has been facilitated by Bloomberg. But now the foreign investors can easily get to know about the movements of Indian share prices. No indirect methods, okay? No other indirect tools or measurements, just like participatory notes hota tha jisme indirectly you can invest, okay? Participatory notes are not based on other instruments and tools, financial instruments. So here Bloomberg, which is a financial company, it provides platform and information related to the movement of stock prices and based in New York. So that is going to open a terminal in which foreign investors can look the movements of stock prices and accordingly they can invest, okay? And that will be supported by an Indian digital company, NDSOM, operated by the Clearing Corporation. Clearing Corporation सारा financial ending और netting करता है, ठीक है? Next, sharp decline in rainfall over eastern Indus region. As you know, Indus is a Himalayan river, one of the three important Himalayan rivers, Ganges, Brahmaputra and Indus. And Indus flows through three different countries, China, India, Pakistan, okay? And majorly, and also Afghanistan ke usme there are tributaries. So here the major rivers, the major 6 rivers are divided between India and Pakistan. India under the Indus Treaty, which was brokered by World Bank and finalized in 1960. Now India is threatening Pakistan because it is housing terrorists. That is why India can also quietly torture Pakistan if it doesn't stop promoting terrorism. But here the issue is decline in rainfall, something natural. And as you know, Eastern Indus में 3 rivers आते हैं. एक हो गया ब्यास, सतलज एंड आपका रावी. वेस्टर्न में आ गया Indus itself, Chenab and Jhelum. So eastern rainfall में 20% reduction in rainfall if you compare the present rainfall with the same in 1950. Okay, that is due to climate change, and it can also affect groundwater recharge. Okay, so what are the important challenges? It can threaten irrigation and water availability. Climate change is influencing Himalayan river system. So basic points. So if a question is asked related to India's disproportionate suffering as regards climate change, you can start about land submergence, okay? For example, coastal erosion, and also these points. Urban flooding is also a problem, cloud burst, and decline in rainfall in the eastern Indus region. Global livability index, very sad news for India. Livability, of course, it's very the term is very suggestive. That means which city is more happy to live in? A happy city, for example, people are migrating to the west because there are many pull factors. And if you make a long list with several indicators, push and pull, we can rank cities, which is everyone's most favorite city. As per this report, it's Denmark's capital called Copenhagen. Okay, that is the most livable city. And 173 cities were ranked, 173, और उसमें से सबसे टॉप रैंक मिला इंडिया के कैपिटल को दिल्ली, 120. It's very sad and shameful for this country. Then 121 मिला है मुंबई को, 123 चेन्नई, 127 बेंगलुरु. Okay, so and top place went to, I think, Copenhagen, then Vienna, and then Melbourne. So many parameters were used, 30 plus indicators, and the most important pillars were stability of the city, healthcare, culture and environment. And in terms of environment, you know, most of the Indian mega cities are polluted. Education and infrastructure. ठीक है? And yeah, for prelims, another important fact which I really I forgot. It was released by Economics Intelligence Unit. Next, Vevdegestrant, which is a drug which has a potential to cure cancer. So it's slightly difficult to pronounce. वेब डिजिस्ट्रेंट, यू कैन मेमोराइज द नेम इफ क्वेश्चन इज आज इन द प्रीलिम्स एग्जाम कि ये टर्म कौन से क्यूर के साथ, कौन से डिजीज के क्यूर के साथ इट्स रिलेटेड. देयर विल बी 4 ऑप्शंस, टीबी, कैंसर, इबोला और से कोरोना वायरस डिजीज. ठीक है, कोविड. सो इट विल बी cancer. So Protac uses a new technology. So most of the cancer curing drugs had the ability to inhibit that particular protein in cancer cells, which makes sure the cancer cells rapidly move around the body. So that was the property of those traditional drugs. They used to inhibit, slow down the functioning of those proteins on the cancer cells. But this new technology will not just inhibit, it will destroy them. Target and destroy the protein sites. Okay, so that is the property, and these are called Protacs. And they are primarily being used for, this particular drug has been approved for a type of breast cancer in which there is estrogen receptor positive. There are certain cells on the estrogen cells, outward cells, which make the path for cancer cells very free, and another HER2 negative. So these are the types of cancers for which this drug will be used, and target cancers with ESR mutations. Mutation sites are those sites in which the nucleotide sequence has been altered. You know there are 4 nucleotides, okay, adenine, guanine, thymine, so and uska jo and cytosine, 4 nucleotide groups are there. So if a normal sequence has been changed or damaged, that is called mutation. It uses the body's proteasome to eliminate harmful proteins. Okay, so all you need to know is that this drug is related to curing cancer. IUCN Red List of threatened species. Again, annual report, what more can be done to prevent the extinction and endangerment of certain species. And here the special focus this year has been on mollusks. Mollusks एक special type of phylum है, I hope you all know. There are 11 phyla under the animal kingdom, and mollusk वो है which are soft creatures covered with a hard calcium carbonate shell. जैसे snail हो गया, conch हो गया, okay, all these have CaCO3 shells. So this particular group is endangered, okay, and more than half of assessed mollusk species are threatened. The desert rain frog in Africa, it also faces increasing habitat pressure. Major threats include habitat loss, pollution, climate change, and mollusks play a very vital role in freshwater and marine ecosystems. ठीक है, तो mollusks आप समझ गए, this is the ये. Then ask which of the following are mollusks? Octopus, okay, then snail, conch. So these are all mollusks. Aldrin, a banned pesticide, has been cited as the reason for many mugger crocodile deaths, another environment related news, in Rajasthan. So remember the name of the drug, Aldrin. What is this drug? It's a banned pesticide, just like DDT. Okay? Banned, so its use has been cited as the reason behind the deaths of the mugger crocodiles in Rajasthan, but the Rajasthan Forest Department said, no, that is not our responsibility, because pesticides are used by farmers, and farmers farming cultivation, they come under the agricultural department. So that is why the NGT, National Green Tribunal, had to intervene to set up an investigating body so that the culprit can be found and we can take necessary steps. Okay. Remember the name of the banned pesticide is Aldrin. Samriddhi Gram Initiative. This Gram Initiative by the has been, which is being implemented by Department of Telecommunication. Samriddhi Gram means here prosperity is not based on agricultural growth. In terms of digitization, internet connectivity, okay, setting up of towers which can supply internet, okay, that means improving the interconnectivity or internet connectivity in the villages. Implemented by Department of Telecommunications, and this department has done really well through this initiative, because of which they have won the WSIS prize, which is an international recognition given by ITU, International Telecommunications Union. कोई इतना खास न्यूज़ है, you can ignore it also. But Samriddhi Gram Initiative में, if they ask, it aims at what? Even if they don't ask you the name of the ministry or the department, not agricultural development, not rural unemployment, but internet connectivity or digitization. Cyanobacteria, another biology or environment related news. Cyanobacteria is actually also called blue-green algae, but it is not an algae, it's a type of bacteria because it's a prokaryote. It does not have a cell nucleus. Nucleus nahi hai isme. Because it looks green and it produces its own food through photosynthesis, which is a property of algae. That is why it was traditionally believed to be a type of algae, but it is cyanobacteria. And this bacteria, although it's a prokaryote, it has a cell, it's a cell. And it has some organelles present on its surface which can bind with important metals like lead. And they can remove the metals from polluted water. So this technique is called bioremediation. And here the useful agent is cyanobacteria. Okay, the method targets lead contaminated water. It is a form of bioremediation using living organisms. The approach is environmental friendly and sustainable. So that's all about today's news today. Try to make the most of digital current affairs brought to you by Vision Eyes. And now 6 questions will flash on your screen. Do take them. Wish you all the very best.